Give this a go, shall we? What cards do you own in paper? I don't own any Magic cards in paper anymore. I have a couple of Magic cards that are framed, and I have my altered Birds of Paradise. We peaked for today with the 5-0 this morning. Yeah, basically. Basically, we peaked this morning with the 5-0. We've cashed a few other leagues since then. We haven't run quite as bad as we ran yesterday, but we definitely ran a little bit good this morning. Hopefully this is a matchup where our Swords to Plowshares are good. I mean, we have interaction in that matchup, and we have ways to take Chalice of the Voids off the table. Basic Swamp Thoughtseize would be a lot of things. I have one Kiki Jiki, one Resto, and one Court of Calling, but like those cards aren't really much. You want to come play the Legacy GP in Seattle? You can crash at my place. When is that? Free places to stay make tournaments a lot cheaper. And that's like a double GP weekend, right? I could play like 2 tournaments in the same weekend. I've actually sold most of the Anticipates. Thank you very much. Five through 8. Christy would probably kill me. Oh, Milwaukee's that weekend. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to justify flying. Oh, it's Standards the second one? That's gross. Probably not, because there's an Open that weekend. There's SCG Milwaukee is that weekend. That's only like 3-hour drive for me, and I kind of want to qualify for the Invitational. Oh, Swords to Plowshares. And this is one of the things that's just like kind of tough about these interactive mid-range decks, and this is true of most of the decks like this in Legacy, is that sometimes you just like have the wrong half of your cards. Like, it's looking like my opponent's playing a deck where Swords to Plowshares isn't going to be particularly good. So like, we just have these 3 cards that are kind of awkward. The blue decks get to play Brainstorm to like kind of mitigate this downside. But even they run into some issues like this. You need to qualify top 8. Yeah, top 8 or a certain amount of points in a season. There's my pretty lady. Come to mama. Come to daddy. Should have thrown it. That's actually probably not a terrible suggestion. I've been super fucking impressed with Faithless Looting. Yeah, wrong half problem is it's very similar to like what the Fair decks have in Modern. Actually, God, why didn't I think of that? I kind of want to just play their deck list as is, but Faithless Looting would be a really strong consideration for this deck. That card's been super fucking impressive in the Jund deck we've been playing. Like, Faithless Looting has been like a great red brainstorm in that Jund deck. Super powerful, super consistent. Like, kind of ties the deck together and allows you to kind of loot through the Swords to Plowshares type cards. Yeah, it looks like they're playing some kind of like mono black reanimator style deck. They reanimated my Stoneforge Mystic? What? They have a Cabal there? Sure. That's certainly a thing. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure that this deck needs the lightning bolts in it. Just because there's so much removal in the deck. Like, this deck has 12 pieces of removal in the main deck right now, which is probably a little bit much. It's the mirror match. Good dude. Swords to Plowshares now live. I mean, and their Knight doesn't really do anything, right? Because it can't knight their swamps. Yeah, they could be baiting swords. Just like have a bunch of reanimate spells that I want to try and work through them. You could also probably trim a land, because remember, if you're adding 4 cards that draw cards to your deck, you can trim at least 1 land, usually because you're going to see more cards, so you'll be land screwed a little bit less. Things to consider. They are Black-Red Reanimator. There's a Karakas in our deck too, so we ain't really afraid of Grizzly Beast too much. Tidespout Tyrant's kind of a beating. Although I guess we have Mother of Runes as well. Pretty well set up here. Please attack your Knight into mine. Rats. They know how Knight of the Reliquary works. So always remember you can grow your Knight of the Reliquary 2 with a single activation. So we activate it, and then we get a fetch land, and then we fetch with this fetch land. So now this is a 4/4. Dryad Arbor. I think I'm just passing here, right? Probably. Exhume. I'm gonna knight my Dryad Arbor in response here, because we'll get to get it back with Exhume. This one. Oh, you know what I should have gotten? Should have gotten Karakas, right? Whatever. Whatever. Silly Dryad Arbor lands it back. Oh, there's a main deck Bojuka Bog. You're right. Who cares? All roads lead to Rome. You should draw cards in response so I can kill you. Man, I should say shit like that more often. You should draw cards so you die. Have protection from white Stoneforge Mystic. Good call on the main deck, Bog. Definitely wasn't thinking about that. Alright, so Wastelands and Surgicals are good here. Thalia's pretty good here. I think Gideon's fine. Containment Priest is fine. The Lightning Bolts and the Punishing Fires are pretty bad. And that's actually just a good clean... I guess Gaddock Teeg doesn't really do much here. Pridemage probably doesn't either. This is also kind of medium. I could take this and probably take these Blessed Alliances into my deck. There's a lot of games where the opponent's Reanimator deck just like floops a single creature into play and then attacks with it a couple of times. You could Blessed Alliance it off the board. So I think this is fine. Seems fine. Bojuka Bog in our opener actually kind of sucks, because that means we can't tutor it with Knight of the Reliquary, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. This hand could go either way. I don't know, I feel like I want to play Catch and Release. Like, turn 3 Knights really slow. We have, like, Hate Bears and Surgicals to mulligan too. I said Swords to Plowshares, which is kind of interaction, so I guess I'll keep. Wasteland is okay in this matchup as well. It's also a third land for a Knight of the Reliquary, potentially. What is actually happening? So Anoronics sent in a bunch of bits and said you should stream for 12 hours today. So we are currently in hour 7.5, and we're going to be going for another 4.5 hours before we close out the night. Work in the morning, get some sleep. Gross. They have an Inkwell Leviathan. Looks like they have an Inkwell Leviathan. That, things don't bode well for our hero, chat. They're not boding well for our hero. Oh, you know what's a huge oversight in this deck? I was just thinking about it because I was like, I might want to tutor one up. No Mazavith is probably an oversight. There should probably be a Mazavith in here. The card's really good with Knight. Yeah, we're pretty dead to that. Oh, I Blessed Alliance. Derp. Alright, that wasn't coming, but you're right. We have Blessed Alliance. Good call, good call. Blessed Alliance would, in fact, nail that down. Check. I actually can't do 24 hours because I have to work tomorrow night. I have to be an adult and work tomorrow night. I don't think Glacial Chasm is very good. Mazavith is pretty great, though. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, Mazavith is great with Knight of the Reliquary because the way Mazavith is worded, you can use Mazavith to give your Knight of the Reliquary pseudo-vigilance. And how that works is, there is technically a step here in combat, the damage step, where your creatures have dealt damage but are still considered attackers. So you can attack with Knight of the Reliquary, let it deal damage, and then maze your Knight to untap it. So you get to attack with the Knight and hit them, but untap it and maze it, so you're able to activate the Knight that turn after attacking them with it. It's just a really sweet workaround. It's really, really powerful stuff you can do with Mazavith. If I didn't, like, my teaching job doesn't pay that much and I could maybe be inspired to blow it off, but the fact that I have the kids to take care of too, so I just can't justify the 24 hours. So that trick, on top of letting your Knight be a pseudo removal spell for like your opposing creatures, it's just like gives it a lot of versatility. It's gonna be the old Thoughtseize into turn 1 you. God damn it. This Reanimator deck is so good when it goes off. Alright, I guess we have 2 draws to hit a... We have 2 draws to hit our Karakas naturally, right? 3 draws technically, we don't die for 3 turns. You're so rude, Iota. Our hand had so much promise, chat. Our hand had so much promise. You just gotta understand, if you're gonna play fair non-blue decks like this, sometimes you're just gonna lose games like this. Honestly, even most fair blue decks would lose this game, right? Like they had the Thoughtseize into the turn 1 threat. Yeah, I was really sad when they printed True Nemesis and then made the 4-color Loam deck mostly unplayable. So, I kind of explained it earlier. There's part of combat where your creature has already dealt damage, but it's still considered an attacking creature. So the damage it's going to deal has already been dealt, but it's still an attacking creature, so it's still a valid target for Mazavith, which means that apparently my concede is going away. Is Moto using too much memory? Oh yeah, look at that. Almost 2 gigs of RAM there at the top. I'm just gonna click that end process button here real quick. So there's a window where it's already dealt damage, so it no longer cares about getting its damage prevented, but it's still attacking, so it's still a legal attack. Yeah, so you have to say during the declare damage part of the combat step, we're doing this, or the end of combat. Yeah, so you can do it during the damage or end of combat step. So still inside of combat, so it's still an attacker, so it's still a legal target for Mazavith, but it's already dealt damage, so preventing damage it's going to deal no longer matters. Magic over real world responsibilities every time. Thanks for the bits, Kobe. when my real world responsibilities were just like only my own, that was easier to do, but with kids it's much harder to, you can't just blow off your kids, they're pretty important. I kinda like them. I like my children. They're good people. See this one and move on to the next one. While we're waiting for our second match to pop, I would just like to say good morning, afternoon, good night to everyone wherever you're at in the world. Shout out to Anaronix for sponsoring a long stream today, and everyone else that's donated bits and dollars and subscriptions. Y'all are the reason I'm able to do what I do as often as I do, so I really appreciate that. Everyone else out there, welcome as well. Remember, if you're enjoying what you see, hit that follow button. You can also support my content by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com would love to buy and sell Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hogan PayPal at checkout, then you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepad, binders, all sorts of sweet stuff there. Excited to play with Jason Bloodbraid Elf in Modern, but is there a cheap and fast service I could subscribe to get Moto decks to test out? Not that I'm aware of. Not cheap. Not cheap. Honestly, all Magic cards that you buy on Magic Online are basically like renting them, because Magic Online has such a high conversion rate when you sell cards back, especially if you use MTGO traders, and I'm a shill, they pay me, but I'm familiar with their service because I've used them even before they sponsored me. You can sell cards back to them with a trade-in bonus and get pretty close to what you paid for them. So it's really, like, unless you're changing decks like 6 times a day, it's really pretty efficient to just own the cards. Remember, none of us own Magic Online cards, right? Like, they're all digital objects that WotC owns, but it's pretty cheap. Ugh. Is this keepable? It's close. It's close. And yeah, it's coming immortal. It's hard to pass up Sylvan Library. Like, this could find me... I'm gonna keep this. This could find me white. It is a lot of bits. That's why Anaronix sponsors the long streams. Shoot, Anaronix is the biggest sponsor of this stream for the last 2 months. It's another Reanimator deck. Yeah, I agree, Wax Papers. It's another one of those, well, this is good against half and bad against the other half. White swords, please. White swords, please. Well, I mean, Thalia. Yeah, Jace is real good. Jace is real good. I concede APM unlock here. Correct, yep. The only fees that happen on bits are taxes, but those happen on all dollar bills, right? At what point does Anaronix get their own emote? I actually have an emote slot free, so, you know, if he wants to design an emote, I'm probably down for that. Lord knows he's chipped it enough for it. This is how we boarded last time. Have you talked about your thoughts on Jace? Yeah. If you ban rep. If we lose with this hand, I might have to concede the league out of sadness. We're gonna get on the scoreboard here. I feel this is the one. We are gonna get on the scoreboard with this one. So Daredevil can cast their reanimates, but the problem is we don't have a way to get their reanimates into the discard pile. Oh, there's the Kappa. Got it. If we get turn 1 through the Surgical again, I might lose it. With the Containment Priest in hand again. God, we're gonna get fucking turn 1 through the Surgical again. Oh good. Oh good. They're unmasking themselves. Deal. This is so aggressive. Stop it. Stop it right now. Just nip that. Nip it right in the bud. Like that one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Stop it, you big meanie. Big meanie red-black reanimator beanie. Blazing Archine's a good one to know about. Not that it really changes anything that we're doing. Okay, nothing too spicy there. We go for Hugel Enchilada. Thalia? I think I'm gonna play Thalia here. Makes them crack their Lotus Petal to burn their thing. Well, if they're kicking this, they won't find anything in our bin to get with it, so that's nice. Yep. I think we want to play some... I think I want to play some modern memes after this league. What modern memes seem good in the donation queue chat? It feels like there's some quality memes to be had there. We've got, maybe we'll play the red-green Belcher deck. We have a Belcher deck in there. There's a Footsteps of the Goryo's deck in there, too. I could be in for Footsteps of the Goryo. We don't have JAC in the queue currently. The JAC doesn't stay in the queue very long because I love playing that deck, so we play into it pretty quickly. Jace getting we're gonna have plenty of Jace unbanned memes coming up. You can click in there, so feel free to chime in chat with which of the modern deck lists on the docket you think are most amusing, and maybe we'll play a couple of those to close out the night here after this league. Deathcloud is pretty dank. This hand's probably not good enough, right? Just like doesn't have any of our hate creatures and it only has surgical extraction. We paid Jeff for Zubra Tribal yet. Karakas is actually pretty reasonable in this matchup, so I'm gonna keep that. And Green Sun's not bad. We can Green Sun for Dryad Arbor and then turn 2 Night. Thank you for the short, concise video on Jace. I do have to say, I agree with your stand more than anyone else so far. Even LSV, you hit the nail right on the head. Yep. Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. Obviously, it's difficult to predict the future, right? They're targeting us this time, so they take our Blessed Alliance and see that we have Karakas. Someone asked, how much to jump your deck up next? Well, you can kind of see all of the points of everything that's in there. So remember, $1 is a point, basically. So how the points work is $1 is a point, and every day it's been in the queue is a point. The more points things have, the more likely they are to get played. If anything gets over 50 points, we automatically bump it up to the very next thing that we play. Just not... I mean, it's not unplayable, but it's definitely worse than it would be with Jace, if that's your question. Like, should your Jeskai deck have Jace in it to be optimal? Yes. Your Jeskai deck should have some number of Jace in it to be optimal. Yeah, I agree. I felt kind of bad that I was leaving... What if two things have 50 points? Well, then I'll play whichever one I like more first, and then I'll play the other one. Basically, it's a good system for keeping track, so I don't leave anything rotten there for too long. Yep, that's the Chancellor. Yep, exclamation point donation queue lets you see it. Yep. Huh. Wonder if not having a Jitte in my deck is a punt right now. I think I want to play this rather than the Stoneforge Mystic so I can be more likely to have a land for my Knight of the Reliquary. And again, not having a Umezawa here is actually a pretty big deal, right? Because like if I get this Knight into play, I actually can't deal with this Chancellor. This also gives us more looks to find a Swords to Plowshares. Green Sun Zenith, that doesn't really do anything. Swords, please. Wasteland. This doesn't do anything, right? This doesn't do anything, right? I don't have Teeg or Pridemage in my deck. That's basically just fetch target Dryad Arbor, Knight of the Reliquary at this point. And I guess land plus Gideon would have been good there too. Shuffling my deck isn't irrelevant though, so I've got that going for me. Waste them plus play Stoneforge Mystic to shuffle. Yeah, actually I like that a lot. That's a good line. Let's put these two back. I think that's a good line. I forgot Stoneforge Mystic shuffles. Like if we had a Batterskull to go get here too, we could... This is definitely somewhere where Stoneforge Mystic is kind of clunky. Like without a Batterskull, this isn't a real threat in these style of matchups where you need a clock. So like this is only utility, it's not a threat. Like if we got a Batterskull here, Batterskull could race this Chancellor of the Annex. We'd go to 7, put Batterskull into play, we'd go to 2, and then we'd start going to 6 and be able to kind of race back here and get a couple more draw steps at Sylvan Library. Well, that's a shuffle at least. We've got that going for us. Plow, plow, plow. Alright, put on top. Put on top. Play this. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna crack this, right? And now I can't use this Horizon Canopy anymore. I guess I get to just take a draw with this, right? Since I can't use it anyways. Ding. Ding, fries are done. Bum, 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 dun, 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 dun. It's been a tight game so far. I'm not sure that I believe that the Cryptic Command Jace decks are going to be the ones that are going to be super, super popular and good. Gonna go ahead and put my Knight into play here. My Surgical on tap. Do we not have a Fries emote? I feel like we need a Fries emote. That's true. Fries emote sounds like it might be gas. I guess I could upkeep shuffle with this this Knight of the Reliquary. Although I kind of wouldn't mind a land, huh? Yeah, I kind of wouldn't mind a land. Yeah, I think discard spells plus Jace are going to be where it's more at in Modern, mostly because, like, you can only afford to have so many 4-mana spells, and, like, you don't have Force of Will to protect Jace in Modern like you do in Legacy, so you're going to need a way to make sure your Jace is going to be able to take over the game when it comes down, and, like, a discard spell is the best way to clear the path for them. Sword on my Knight and close this game out real fast. Yep, Jace, well, like Burgle said there, Jace puts away discard spells that otherwise would be dead, so it gives you an out to get rid of those as well. Well, they'll be dead next turn, and we have Surgical Extraction to hopefully stop any shenanigans. Maybe. I think Terminus is a pretty genuinely powerful card. I don't know if Jace will be enough to push the Miracle archetype to be completely competitive, but I think it's definitely a tool that's, like, to set the bar low, Jace is better than Riverwise Augur, right? Yeah, Jace Reveler seems great. Jace plus Bedlam Lover in the Legacy deck we played this morning was insane, so I would like to see it tried in... would definitely like to see it tried in Legacy. Or in Modern, sorry. The number of times today, this morning, where we brainstormed with Jace and then put the 2 cards we wanted to keep back on top of our deck and then cast Bedlam Leveler and redrew the cards we wanted to keep, it was just so powerful. Riverwise Augur protects your Jace. Pennies! Thank you for the bits, Tasty Cactus. I appreciate that. Thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. It's been a nuts stream between Anoronyx and his cupcake bit explosion. I love that animated cupcake that now sits at the top of our chat. It's so great. Yeah, I was lucky to finally find the plow when I did, Lethal. Yeah, unfortunately, I just feel like the land tutors just aren't quite there in Modern. This hand's close. It's kind of awkward that we have an equipment with our Stoneforge Mystic, but I think I'm supposed to keep this. We did play the Aggro Lum deck tonight. Did the Super League just finish up? Super League still going, sweet. We're gonna play some more Modern after this league for sure. We're third match into this one. So this is something small that you can get. Our opponent went Underground Sea Brainstorm, which means one of 2 things. Either my opponent is terrible at Legacy and doesn't understand how Brainstorm works, or they're playing a combo deck and we're very close to being dead right now. Oh, yeah, Tidespout Tyrant is actually one of your best cards against decks, like, so probably Storm with this Badlands fetch. I assume we're dead. Yeah, Tidespout Tyrant is definitely one of your better cards against the Knight of the Reliquary decks. So long, Umezawa Sturgit. Oh no! Joke's on you, opponent. I didn't want my spells anyways. A Jace plus Reveler deck of your own making, would you do it? Yes, Terminator, 10 out of 10. In. Mother of Runes is going to get frisky here, so the Storm deck, remember, goes off using the card Ad Nauseam, using its health total as a resource, so all of these chip shots that we get into it here potentially make their Ad Nauseams worse down the line, depending on when they go off. We're going to need to get in 2 to 3 hits probably for it to really matter, but every point counts here. Jin, this is not normally going to be part of my stream schedule, but because Anoronic sent in those large amount of bits today, we decided to add some extra here. So that's a Dark Ritual. Am I dead? Am I dead? Am I dead? Oh, nuking their yard. Yeah, you're right. That was a mistake. I should have played this Bojuka Bog. I should have played this Bojuka Bog. Yeah, that Jed is correct. I wasn't thinking about that. Bogging is a meaningful line of interaction because of Cabal Ritual. It probably doesn't matter, but it could be the difference here, so I should have done that. Do you think non-blue fair decks will ever be tier 1 in Modern again? Probably not while Jace is legal. I think I would be pretty surprised if that ended up being the case. Like, those are the decks that Jace really pushes out, which are decks that have always struggled in Modern, so, like, it's just going to make decks that were always kind of bad even worse. Yeah, yep. I should have just played bogged them, and then played this off of these two, and then attacked with this. We'd done the same amount of damage, but we wouldn't have Mother of Runes up, but, like, having Mother of Runes up here, like, isn't that meaningful. Opponent's doing some vector calculus to figure out if we're dead or not. I assume we're dead. Dark Ritual usually means we're dead. This is my hand. My hand is mediocre. It's just Goblins. They are just going off with Goblins. Interesting. Terminator with the $12 donation. Build your own Jace Reveler deck. Would prefer to see straight UR, but anything is fine. Deal. $18, 0 in there. That's only 10 goblins? Is that beatable? That feels beatable with the Mother of Runes plus Pridemage. If we draw a creature here, this is super beatable. Is it beatable? That seems pretty good for us. Yeah, I'm not going to bog them just yet, because I want to be able to hold up this extra creature. So, like, now we block 4, we lose this, we take 6, and then, yeah, we're actually not anywhere near dead right now, right? 10 goblins was not nearly enough there. Their vector calculus was off. Yeah, even without the knight, we weren't going to be dead there, but with the knight, we're, like, even less than dead than previous. Yeah, I felt like maybe they felt like they were just spinning their tires and we were going to draw a hate piece eventually. Fuck me, they have a Goblin War Strike in their sideboard. We're going to be exactly dead. Wait, what? What? Do I just Wasteland them twice here? I feel like I'm just supposed to Wasteland them twice here, right? It lets them hit me with one more Goblin, but I think I'm okay with that. Tendrils wouldn't have been lethal. They only had Storm count of 5. That's why they only made 10 Goblins. Do I just, like, let them hit me with one extra Goblin here to Wasteland them again? I'm gonna draw a card with this to start, see what we get. Well, yeah, I think this is fine. I think I'm just gonna Wasteland them. I'm a big fan of taking their lands away. Jeff, is there a new deck you're looking forward to playing with the new unbanned cards? I'm looking forward to curving discard spells into Jason the Mind Sculptor. 10 out of 10 what I'm looking forward to doing. Block. 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 We'll have Mother of Runes give herself protection from red. We'll go ahead and we'll Lightning Bolt one of these. They lose 4 goblins. I lose a Dryad Arbor. Go to 10. It's a little sad that I'm out of lands tonight away. Why are we... Oh, they're just generating storm count here? What format am I playing at the Team Open? I believe I'm playing Legacy at the Team Open. Pretty sure I'm playing Legacy. They're just like grape shotting me for 3 here? 4? Storm count is 3. They're grape shotting for 4. They're like killing Pridemage and like 3ing me. Their lines have been so weird. Yeah, they're killing Pridemage and hitting steal. I guess. Resolves? Ramunap Excavator, that's good for us. It's actually great. Alright, Bog you. So a couple turns away from wastelanding them some more. Who are my team members? Mapamonte and then another local player here. So they can hit me for 3 and then lose 2 goblins here, which probably seems in line with everything else they've done this match. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, I can't cast him because I don't have a white source, but next turn, this will probably be a Concession Teeg next turn, I'm hoping. So lets me play lands to my graveyard, but I can't play additional lands, so... We can play Teeg plus Wasteland them. Concession Teeg, my favorite kind of Teeg. This is my Teaglesworth. He's great. We figured out what we're playing next league. We've not yet. Something from the modern queue. Probably Footsteps or Belcher. I feel like playing some of those more interesting memes. Gideon's actually pretty good here. I like his emblem. I think the Direfleet Daredevil is fine, just for like stealing their cantrips. Same with these. This is not a Blessed Alliance matchup, so Plows are pretty bad here. Punishing Fire's pretty bad here. Qasali Pridemage is pretty bad here. It's the best version of Grixis Delver, in my opinion. You should look at the version of Grixis Delver that I generally play. Features main deck Culligan's Command and notably main deck Cabal Therapies. Not sure if you saw this, but I'll repaste it. For what it is worth, can you take my Twitter profile pic and make it an emote if you're serious about your mark email? Yeah, probably. Ping me tomorrow, Anoronics. And we'll try and get that all taken care of. Teeg did his job and advised your opponent to concede. He's a good guy. Teeg's got your back. He's advised my opponents on some good lines. Swords are dudes to counter tendril. I think that's narrow. Priest is not stumped empty, so unlike Hallowed Moonlight, this explicitly states non-token creature. Which they're similar effects, but they're templated slightly differently. Easy mulligan here. Easy mulligan here. It's worth noting, so we can gain information just from like the cards our opponent played last game. Our opponent is likely playing Tess, which is the slightly faster, more aggressive Storm deck. This hand is not great, but Wasteland is actually meaningful disruption, especially when our opponent's mulligan to 5, so I'm going to keep this and hope to hit a white source. No, it wouldn't stop any of the Manaronics because they all make tokens. Should I order a pizza? Isn't the answer to that question like always yes? My opponent's mulligan to 4. Alright, I'm definitely going to keep this if they mulligan to 4. Our deck's definitely better at playing from behind than theirs is. I'm going to fetch a Savannah here and play this Mother of Runes. Can you order me a pizza too? Asking the real questions. Can we all get a little bit of pizza? Well, no, Containment Priest doesn't affect tokens at all. So Containment Priest didn't come in because it wouldn't affect them in the slightest. I'm just going to start attacking with this. They could have ways to take our Hate Bears off the table post board, but again, they're generally an ad nauseum deck, so I want to just pressure their health total here. Yeah, so like Hallowed Moonlight stops tokens. That's the instant speed card from Magic Origins. And on Magic Online, it stops flip Planeswalkers too because it's bugged. But Containment Priest is templated slightly differently, so it doesn't impact those cards. Do we just send the pizza to buy P.O. Box? Yeah, opponents playing Test, so they're playing the Burning Wish version, so they probably have cards like, what's the word I'm searching for, like Pyroclasm in their sideboard? Hey, what's going on, Rabner? It's Valentine's Day. I should know that. I should make a note. It's Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm prepared. I got my wife's stuff. I'm well prepared. What deck am I going to play at the Legacy Team event? Not 100% decided yet. I'm leaning towards Jund. I was leaning towards Jund, but the blue-red Bedlam Reveler deck that we played this morning felt really powerful, so I might give that a serious consideration. I mean, it's like Wall of Roots, right? It's just like a bug old enough to like become its own meme at this point. It's a bug that's old enough to have like children bugs running around after it. We could die here. Yep, probably dead. Maybe they're just gonna make like an irrelevant number of goblins again. That would be nice. Please make an irrelevant number of goblins. Tilt. Are we deterministically dead to Past in Flames? We are, right? So they get Past in Flames, and then they go Ritual, Tutor, kill us? Nope. Ad nauseum? Want to gamble instead? Sure. Why not? I go for the sure thing when you can gamble. I understand. They're down to 5. They're looking for rituals here. And fast mana? Rituals and fast mana are what the opponent is searching for. That's a piece of fast mana. So we both mulligan pretty low, but I didn't find any of my hate pieces. You could maybe argue that I should have gone lower than I did, just like looking for Thalias and Gaddock Teegs and Green Suns for Gaddock Teegs. Burn is down to 2. Empty doesn't do it here. They need to have... Did they hit the tendrils naturally? Did they hit the tendrils off of... Are they another ritual maybe? Because they could Burning Wish for tendrils, right? They need 1 more mana for that? Opponent needs to tap their Ancient Tomb. Alright, let's see if they hit the tendrils naturally. Yeah, empty doesn't do it. Mother of Runes just gives our Knight of the Reliquary protection from red and we kill them. Because they went to 2 off the Gataxian Probe, so... Unless our opponent does something else here, they are dead. I'll take it. Their ad nauseum was pretty bad. Yep. I think they had it deterministically dead. When they cast this Infernal Tutor, their storm count was 5. So Past in Flames would have been storm count 6. And this would have been storm count 7. And this would have been storm count 8. And this would have been storm count 9. Yeah. If our opponent... Maybe they don't have Past in Flames in their main deck. I guess some of the versions of Test don't play Past in Flames main deck. But if our opponent had Past in Flames in their main deck, we were deterministically dead to that when they cast the Infernal Tutor and got Ad Nauseam. So I don't know how their deck was configured, but if they had Past in Flames in their main deck at that point, we should have lost that game had they been playing optimally. But there's a reasonable chance that there wasn't a Past in Flames in their main deck, and they didn't have enough mana to go Tutor for Burning Wish for Past in Flames and then loop it. Which is also one of the reasons why, like, Test is the less popular version of Storm, and generally Ant is the more commonly played version. It's less volatile and slightly more consistent. It doesn't peter out in situations like you just saw. And wanted to pretend they weren't sniping. Oh. Man, looking at these decks without islands, we're just gonna look at a bunch of islands for the next few days. Here, the Jace plus BBEQ is growing long. I'm gonna play a bunch of those over the next few days. I've actually played through a lot of the legacy decks. I'm happy to do that. God, there's so many modern. Every time I feel like we've really worked our way into the donation queue, we just get more added to it. So I've mostly accepted that it's endless at this point. I've mostly accepted that it's endless. 2-1 versus the 3-0. Got it. Well, hopefully this is a matchup where our hate bears are good. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Every non-blue deck should play Metamorphose and throw some Jace on the board. Probably sage advice. My Mother of Runes dances back and forth. Get a little DJ mom going on here. Mix the records, DJ mommy. DJ mommy mixing her way right into our hearts. Lantern Day really backs up the queue. Like eating a bunch of bad food. Gives everybody fucking gas. Lantern Day, it's bad for the soul. Just ruins morale, too. Don't wasteland me again. God bless. Have a heart. Land. You know what I love doing? Missing land drops in my 24 land deck? Are there 24 lands in our deck? God, that's so many. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like people always ask, like, you're gonna charge more for donation decks? And it's like, nah. I'd much rather have the queue be full, and then if there's people that really want to see their decks played sooner rather than later, they can pay extra for it. But, like, upping the base price, I just don't think is something I want to do. I'd rather have it be too many than not enough. I had to go do something. I don't remember what it was. But I really had to do it. It was something. So we're gonna play Teaglesworth here, just because he stops my opponent from using their Force of Wills and their Jaces. So if they have a force, they need to force Teaglesworth because Mother of Runes protects him. He's my Kithkin advisor, and he advises against forcing my cards. Do you have a list for miracles? Burgle's been working on something, so I might take a mix of what he has and what my gut goes with. Probably going to be loosely based on the list we played previously. Yeah, we've got some sweet ones in there. Yeah, exactly. And, like, I really don't want to discourage people from donating, because, like, some of the sweetest decks I've played in Magic, like, maybe ever have come from, like, random donation queues. So, like, I kind of like getting to see lots of sweet things. Fuck Wasteland. So like, this game is a great example of why when people talk about Modern needs Wasteland to keep Tron in check, I just want to like put my middle fingers to the fucking sky and just be like, Wasteland sucks, keep it out of my games of Modern. Because like, this is a game where just like, we got kind of unlucky and we basically just don't really get to play Magic because we got Wastelanded twice. It's just, you know, that just happens. And like, there's enough things in Modern that create non-games of Magic that I really don't want Wasteland to compound to it. I hurt myself. I hope you don't hurt yourself too much. Thanks for upping that Amazon Prime subscription. I really appreciate that. 3 months, welcome back, a quarter of a year. As always, subscriptions are the absolute best way you can support my content here, so I really, really appreciate that. That's a cry I enjoy so much. I am just going to expose this to a removal spell here in an attempt to gain 5. Like, yep. What the fuck is even going on? Are they playing Grixis Delver? They might just be playing Grixis Delver with a really anemic draw. Is that what's going on? I'm not actually sure what our opponent's playing at this point. Yeah, I agree. They must just be playing Grixis Delver with a kind of non-aggressive draw. I guess that makes sense. My poor mommy. My poor mommy. Whenever Magic Online comes up from downtime tomorrow, red source, please. Dang. Huh. Yeah, I think this is just Plateau. Oh god, they wastelanded my Plateau. There's only one fetchable red source. Oh no, chat, there's only one fetchable red source. There's only one fetchable red source, chat. Oh no. Oh no. Flip to Force a Will, yep. So this means they can't hardcast the Force of Will, so they're thinking about forcing this. Yeah, I think they have to force this. Which means I get to play Mother of Runes, and then I can Knight for Grove of the Burnwillows and bolt down this Delver. We might hang in this game just long enough. Just long enough. I will survive. Hey, hey. Do 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 beep do 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 do. Beep 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 do 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 beep beep do beep beep do. Hey hey. I strapped this onto my... I should have knighted at end of turn. I was too busy dancing, excited that we're actually in this game. Sorry. I apologize to everyone I've disappointed by not activating my Knight of the Reliquary. I'll be more careful in the future. Yeah, probably. I could have gotten some information. Alright, extra Wasteland in. Daredevil, Gideon in. This is not a Pridemage matchup. Blessed Alliance seems okay here. I think Teeg's actually a little bit medium. Excavator seems fine. Library seems fine. Actually, not 100%. I think Thalia is not good enough here. I think we have enough. I think we have enough non-creature spells that Thalia is kind of annoying. This probably isn't a Bojuka Bog matchup. I could probably cut that. Take out Library? I don't think Thalia is good enough. Like, they usually play, they have like 23 mana sources in their deck. Maybe Library's gotta go. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I'm sure my Stoneforge Mystic. I think one of my feedbacks in the deck is without a Batter Skull, even with a Batter Skull, I think 4 Stoneforge Mystic is a touch too many in this deck. Especially if we go down the road of adding Faithless Looting, which I would love to try. 10 out of 10 would love to try Faithless Looting in this deck. This is a pretty easy mulligan here. Even with Green Sun for Dryad Arbor, I just don't think it's good enough. This hand is much, much better. Love another land, thank you. Don't mind if it does. Deathrite Shamalaman. Plateau is our red source, right? So, yeah. Best you. You go, blue-black fairies and modern now that Jace is banned. Maybe. It kind of feels to me like blue-black fairies is just like the modern deck no amount of unbanned cards could save, but we're going to try it. We actually have a blue-black fairies in the donation queue for tomorrow. Or for Thursday. Probably going to be Thursday. I'm not sure how many Jace decks we're going to get to tomorrow. Thursday and Friday, we're going to have all the Jace you can handle, though. That's for sure. And Friday's our long stream day. Today's a long stream day thanks to Anoronics, but Friday is our scheduled long stream day, where we'll be guaranteed going for a very long time. I have another threat here. We might be in a little bit of trouble. Second Deathrite Shaman. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and play Stoneforge Mystic here. They have another threat anyways. They have another Daze. It kind of sucks, but they're going to Daze something at some point this game, so might as well be this now. I guess I have enough lands that maybe that's not true. Maybe I could have just gone land, plow something, but I really don't like plowing the second Deathrite Shaman. Jeff Hoagland gave to me. I wonder how long it's going to be before people get sick of getting Jaced. Look, speaking as someone who's like played a lot of Jace Mirrors and Legacy, like it gets pretty miserable pretty quick. Did I want to fetch there to play around Stifle later? Potentially. It's an interesting question. I kind of didn't want to put another land in the graveyard for these Deathrite Shamans because they currently don't have. They only had one fetched in there. And of course now they have a Wasteland, so like they have infinite mana, but I kind of wanted to try and choke the Deathrite Shaman on resources it could produce. Well, that's pretty excellent. Now we're just going to fuck both these guys in the ass. Get them. Nice mana denial. Get out of here. Your move, Kaiba. It's time to duel. That's sad. That's sad. Look, it's late. I've been streaming a long time. I'll try and be less aggressive. I'll try and be less aggressive. It was a little aggressive. Oh, it's a big fish. Hopefully we hit a land here so we can stick our knight. Or Gideon too. Gideon's pretty good as well. That's kind of a land. Unfortunately, we don't have another Savannah here. So I'm not actually going to be able to cast this Gideon off of the mana we have currently. Great, another YouTube video that needs an NSFW tag. Alright. Should try and keep my Knight of the Reliquary down. Sweet, we get to play this through a daze now, too. And we're protected from Diabolic Edict as well. This is my 6/6 next to their 5/5. Isn't she beautiful? Next turn, she gets to fix my mana, so I can stick this Gideon. We don't have a... That's tasty. We're gonna just play the Gideon this turn, though. Just gonna play the Gideon this turn. There's no reason to attack. They have a 5/5. God, I had to open my mouth, chat. I had to go and say, well, they don't have a true name, Nemesis. My name's Jeff Hoagland. Will open my mouth and stick my foot in. What's the worst that could happen? They could draw a true name? Derpa Hoagland. Why do I talk? Why do I open my mouth and let words come out, chat? The question I have to ask myself. Why do we speak? Why do we speak? Oh, you know what? I should just be wastelanding them here probably, right? I guess they're drawing more land, so it's like in one hand, half dozen in the other. Please attack me. Seriously? You're attacking me? And you don't have another true name. Do they not understand how racing works? They don't understand how racing works. Oh, okay, sure. So they just can kill the Gideon now? Yep. Still, like, this is... Now they're just gonna, like, hold this back, I guess? Eventually I'm gonna draw another knight, right? I guess they could draw another true name? Yes, I agree. This card is super fucking miserable. This next card is a big part of the reason why I took a break from Legacy for a long time. Do not enjoy the design of this card at all. They drew another true name. They drew a fish. Sure. Right, looking for a plow. Ding, ding, ding. Plow that one. Play Mother of Runes. Attack with the squad. I'm attacking before I replay the Horizon Canopy because it's one more point of damage with this. Oh, they're losing this race now, so go ahead. And my Mother of Runes lets my Knight of the Reliquary attack through the true name here. And it's not really that awkward, right? That's annoying, but not the end of the world. Means they're no longer dead on board. Now you're dead on board again. Your move. Got him. Sweet. Alright, sweet. We're 3-1 after a close first loss to the red-black reanimator deck. I love Knight of the Reliquary decks. They're so tricky. I have some good small suggestions I can make for this deck. I like the core of it though. These Maverick decks are fun. They give you a lot of lines to them. Waste them off of red? Maybe. I mean, like, the red doesn't really give them any outs that I can think of, right? Like, what's an out there that wasting them off of red plays to? I guess there's really no harm in doing it. Like Jace the Mind Sculptor maybe could have been an out if they have one of those in their sideboard. We're gonna play some more modern after this one. Pyromancer plus cantrips, yeah, that's fair. Need to get a shower and some coffee, yep. It does need a transparent background, Quaz. Yeah, that would be great if you want to transparent that for me. It saves me some work in GIMP. I'm not that good at GIMP. Yeah, I think they could ban True Name and Probe for the same reason. I really hate Probe. True Name is probably less offensive than Probe, in all honesty. In all honesty, I think True Name is less offensive than Probe. We have Umezawa's Jitte in the main deck too. We haven't gotten to Daredevil Brainstorm yet. That's also true and kind of sad. Paint tool for life. Hey, Anoronics gifting that sub for the sweet emote artwork. Thank you. I do appreciate that. You're the best, Anoronics. Yes, this stream brought to you by Anoronics. He's gonna have a banner up there soon. We're working on it. Legacy format staple Dire Fleet Daredevil. I really want to cast two of these is probably too cute, but I really want to cast this card at some point. I think this card's pretty underplayed in Legacy. I think this card's pretty great. One of the better cards when we were playing Did Guy Ale. It's like pseudo removal in these fair matchups. Its emblem gives you a card that they have to remove against Storm before they can tendrils you out. It's really kind of sweet. Football, that's the one with the forks, right? It's the one with the forks. Thanks everyone for hanging out here late into the evening. About 2/3 way through our extra long Tuesday stream. Playing some Legacy. I think we're gonna close out the last leg with our last bit of Jace free modern. Oh, that's foosball. Okay. We're gonna play the last match with this deck, give some feedback on it and things I would change, and then we'll fire it back up. Last seen on Ad Nauseam Tendrils. A lot of unfair decks in the evening. This hand's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. Or to pass up Mom and Green Sun. Got my big lady. Got my two pretty ladies here. Second and third favorite women in the world. So Trop Bonder could be Ad Nauseam, but a lot of people play a lot of different Legacy decks online, because like once you own the core of cards, it's not that expensive to build into other ones, so could be something fair as well here still. Hopefully it's something fair. Hand's much better against something fair than something unfair. How Bobby wasn't on our team in Loam. Basic Swamp smells unfair. Hopefully this is a Baleful Strix. Probe. Uh-oh. Gross. Probably Storm. Probably Storm. So we wanted to die to Ponder decks. That we are 2-0 against Ponder decks in this league, thank you. We dropped one to Red-Black Reanimator. How often do you see elves online? Is Cradle a big roadblock that can see play on Magic Online? You don't see that much play. I don't think the thing holding elves back isn't Gaia's Cradle being expensive. The thing holding elves back is that elves isn't a very good legacy deck. I'm sorry if that punch burns anyone deep into their soul, but it's the truth. They're okay. I think that's become less true in recent years, Purple Mage, just because of True Name Nemesis and Deathrite Shaman are kind of difficult for these decks. So I'm going to use this Grove of the Burnwillows to bolt my opponent for 2, because I just really don't have anything better to do with this Lightning Bolt. Green Sun. Nope. Elves are a lot of fun. I enjoy playing them, but they're just genuinely not a very good deck. Miracles just beat Tron in the Super League. That's great. I think it's too much of a meme, Anoronics. I also kind of want to switch back to Modern before, or like right about the time the Super League is done, so that way we can catch some of the people coming off of that as they finish. Green Sun is kind of a nuts draw here. It allows us to go get Gaddock Teeg, which some of these Storm decks are just cold to game 1. Some of these Storm decks are just ice cold to Gaddock Teeg game 1. Super League just ended. Sweet. It's good to know. So I think I'm going to get Gaddock Teeg, and then we're just going to start wastelanding them. I could hold up... Yeah, they're just cold to Gaddock Teeg. That's sweet. So if anyone's bouncing over from the Super League, we're finishing up this last match with this Maverick Blade deck in Legacy, and then we're going to be switching back over to Modern for the last couple leagues of the evening. Still got 3 or 4 more hours of stream before we wrap it up here tonight. Alright, I'm leaving the bolts in because they're reach. Yep. We're going to talk about some small changes we can make to this deck before we wrap up the night too. One of the things we always do when people... I didn't... So that's my wife posting upstairs. Can I keep this? Can I keep this? I think I'm going to keep it. I have a Surgical Extraction and I have a Thalia. This is our only way to interact with them before turn 2, so I think it's worth keeping. Welcome to everyone that's coming on over from the Super League. Everyone's having a good evening. We stream in for another 3 or 4 hours here tonight still. And I'll wrap this league up and then play some Modern as well. Bunch of sweet decks going on. And then, remember, later this week, we're going to be playing a bunch of Jace and Bloodbraid Elf decks, like you saw on the Super League tonight. Yep. Yeah, we were number 2 or number 3 while the Super League was going, so... hopefully we can hit some lands here. It was a medium keep. This is a medium keep, but I think it's worthwhile because of the Surgical. Jace is too good, it'll be banned in April. Now, when does M25 release? They can't ban it before they print it. Jace went 3-0 in Modern, ban it. We have Surgical, they have Magic cards, GG. Knight's Whisper, that's some technology. Alright, if we're a true wizard, we will draw a white source here. Again, all this bolt does is go upstairs, so we'll use it as a shock here, basically. Nope. Man, even a Wasteland would have been good there. Yeah, I probably should have mulliganed this hand. Yeah, I think the Miracles deck was close even without Jace, and with Jace I could see it potentially being pushed over the top. Shock you again. Yo. One of my pretty ladies. Jace is very good. People that haven't played with Jace in Legacy are going to be in for a really rude awakening when they're playing with it in Modern for the first time. Fatal push, that's rude. Hey, punk count with them birthday cupcakes for Curly Dactyl. Thanks, bud. Those are her favorite. Yep. Could be dead here. Could be dead here. Oh, maybe we're not dead? Can we not be dead? I would love to not be dead here. What are they playing for 3 mana? Cabal Ritual. So I can take them off of Threshold here. I'm just going to take them off of Threshold here. I guess they have a hard time fully storming off through Surgical if I go after their tutors. They could just have a discard spell, but they might not have discard spells in against me post board. I think I'm just supposed to let this resolve. I think this is them baiting my Surgical. Their ad nauseums are already really bad. They're at 9 health, so I think they need to go off with Past in Flames anyways here, so I want to hold the Surgical to make their Past in Flames worse. Yeah, Seth's a very good Magic player. Very, very reasonable. He's super smart. You know how you can tell he's smart? He never spent time grinding Magic. Love the stream, man. Keep it up, Juggernauts. The 2-month resubscription. Thanks a lot for sending your Prime this way again this month. I really appreciate that. As always, subs are the best way you can support my content here. Past in Flames. Do I want to take their Night's Whispers away here? What are the odds Night's Whispers their access to win this game? This is actually interesting. Are we supposed to take the Night's Whispers out here? You can, I recorded a short video that's a little over 2 minutes about ban rep. You can watch here on YouTube, so feel free to give that a watch. And then if you have specific questions, feel free to ask. Do we take the Night's Whisper here? They could be tanking on Tutor, like have Tutor in their hand, and this could be baiting us again. But like the Night's Whisper could potentially propel them into what they need to win the game. But I guess they could also potentially just like strand them with lands in their hand. I think I'm just gonna let this resolve. I think this is them trying to bait me into burning the Surgical again. They're gonna have all the mana they could want with these Cabal Rituals. And if they have like the natural tendrils, like we can't beat that either way, so it doesn't really matter. So they just have all the black mana they could ever want. They had the Tutor Petal anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, let's try and keep a better hand in this game 3. The sideboard for this deck currently isn't very well configured for these unfair matchups, just because like we have to leave cards like Lightning Bolt in our deck, which is not exciting. Good news, chat, I got my pizza. Pizza's always good news. Love to play first. Unfortunately, this is Magic and not Hearthstone, so we can't keep this hand with no resources in it, which is sad because Surgical and Teeg are both okay here. This is a keep with a Scry. We're going to bottom that. Hopefully we can hit the land for this Thalia. If we just run off any land here, Greensun can turn into Gaddock Teeg. Wasteland is also kind of meaningful interaction in this matchup. I don't think so. Usually they're going to be able to see our hand between discard spells and Gataxian probes, so I don't think that's really worthwhile. I think I'd rather have the bolt for racing them and making their ad nauseums worse. Well, I mean, definitely had worse draws than that one. You play Miracles in 2. Terminus is a very powerful Magic card. Just genuinely powerful. Like one mana sweeper, like Terminus is the type of card that could like potentially give those blue-white decks like that extra edge they need to be able to be competitive against decks like Dredge. Because like Terminus is obviously much better than Supreme Verdict is against Dredge, right? Terminus is also pretty reasonable against still like decks like Death Shadow, just because being able to play a sweeper with 1 mana up allows you to like mana leak their Stubborn Denials a little bit easier, stuff like that. I think you're supposed to bolt early. I'm actually not sure. That's an interesting question. Yeah, I agree, Bob. It's like that big tempo swing catch-up card that those type of control decks usually lack. Like the control decks are powerful because they're doing over-the-top things, but they're not efficient in terms of mana, and like Terminus giving them this really mana-efficient play is pretty huge. Please give us a mana-producing land that's not Dryad Arbor. It's very specific. Ding. Not even going to complain that it doesn't make white. This goes and gets us our Kithkin Advisor. They could have Fatal Push here, but definitely want to put our interaction on the table for sure. They could have something like Flusterstorm here. It's probably getting basic swamps. Let's put a second Wasteland on the table. This is my Teeg. My Teeg is getting Fatal Pushed. Echoing Truth, maybe? Hopefully they pass back to themselves, which means we're likely not dead next turn. Chain of Vapor, that probably means we're dead. I mean, like, I don't know that a single deck is going to really push a price spike, because remember, that's not really how Modern works. Like, even though Jace is being introduced to the format, there's still going to be a lot of people playing a lot of different decks. So, like, even if, say, suddenly Miracles is 10% of Modern or something pretty astronomical like that, it's not going to be that different. So, am I dead? Hey, Sasamato. 7-month Twitch Prime resubscription. 5 more months till the Banhammer is mine. Thanks a lot and welcome back, bud. I appreciate the continued support. Yep. Hopefully the surgical will be enough to get them. So we have 8 mana here. We're probably dead. Another tutor. Yep. I mean, it all depends on like what you value your time and what you get enjoyment out of. If you think you'll get tens of thousands of dollars worth of enjoyment out of playing a bunch of Magic tournaments, then you should play a bunch of Magic tournaments. But what you should not do is play a bunch of Magic tournaments expecting to make a bunch of money doing it. That's a bad line. This is just Goblins. This is just Goblins. Okay. We're cold to Goblins, right? Did Saffron pop in? Saw someone tag him. Yeah, we're pretty dead to goblins here. Alright, so I'm a big fan of these. I'm a sucker for Knight of the Reliquary decks. That's just like a TLDR of like my life in general, but I'm a fan of these Knight of the Reliquary decks. I think this one is a little bit too focused on removal, which maybe if you're expecting an all fair metagame that would be okay, but okay, so these are like my gut changes to this. Like, I think there's too many basics. I think you want a Taiga. I think I definitely want a Taiga. If I could spell Taiga right. I think there's probably one too many Horizon Canopies. I think you definitely want a Maze of Ith. I think these lightning bolts are probably a little bit clunky. I think there's too many Stoneforge Mystics. I've really been liking the Faithless Looting in the Fair deck, so I think I would want to try the Faithless Looting package in this deck. I think I would want to try the Faithless Looting package in this deck. I think it's a pretty good little hate bear. We do have a lot of spells in this deck, though. I'd be tempted to try just like Gideon in the main deck. Just because, like, Gideon's another, like, hate/lock piece. Needs Deathrite Shaman? Maybe. I don't know if you necessarily need Deathrite Shaman. I think not having Batter Skull is probably a mistake, just because, like, Stoneforge Mystic is pretty powerful. And then the sideboard here, I think these Direfleet Daredevils and, like, this Wasteland are just, like, too cute. I think you just want, like, more permanent base disruption to make you better against, like, Storm and decks like that. So I would probably play, like, a second Containment Priest, another Gaddock Teeg, stuff like that, just so you can have more permanent base disruption to board in against those spell-based combo decks. Alright, at any rate, that's going to